Alright guys, it's coming whether you like it or not, and I'm pretty sure most people will probably like it. One-Eyed Mask is getting nerfed. Bungie all but confirmed it in the last weekly update when they mentioned Bottom Tree Striker and Dawnblade super changes were happening. They also left a note saying they were keeping an eye on the One-Eyed Mask. Basically, it's getting nerfed. We don't know how it's getting nerfed or when it's getting nerfed, but I guarantee you, Bungie are at work right now and they are going to nerf this thing. Now, I just want to throw a solution or a suggestion out there on how to fix a One-Eyed Mask, and also how to add some diversity to, you know, Titan loadouts in the Crucible. So obviously we all know what One-Eyed Mask does: marks enemies that dare to damage you, track down and destroy your enemy for increased damage and overshield. Listen, there's no two ways about it. This is one of the most insane exotics in the history of the game, and even as a Titan main, I'm not going to be the kind of person to deny that. It's absolutely insane. I think, get this out of the way at the beginning, because I know a lot of people give me shit for having used it in the past and all of that. But in my case, as a console player, you have to understand, coming into year 2 of Destiny 2, I was pretty jaded, you know, having gone through a few different metas in year 1. I'll give you a quick example. In Season 2, Destiny 2, year 1, the meta on console was Night Stalkers going invisible. And for the entire duration of invisibility, you had no aim assist on your opponent. They would also use the exotic Gemini Jesters and take away your radar. You'd lose radar and aim assist for the entirety of any engagement you had. It was the most annoying shit ever. And then after that, we had the Wormhusk meta, where obviously you chase up, get all your health back. And by the time year 2 came around, One-Eyed Mask was made available to me. You know, the hero becomes the villain. I thought, fuck this. I have been using non-meta shit and dealing with the most obnoxious stuff for a whole year, so I'm gonna treat myself to some absolute, you know, OP shit for once, and I'm just gonna put on the One-Eyed Mask and run with it. However, just my general nature as a player in this game, I kind of, if something's too good or too easy, I get bored of it eventually, and I just put it down, because it just removes the challenge and the variety, and I like to use different stuff. So obviously I basically don't use the One-Eyed Mask anymore. I basically retired it. You have to really piss me off in order for me to put this thing on, which is basically not going to happen. So I have to get that out of the way first, because I know people know me for using the One-Eyed Mask and all of that. But basically I'm over it. I know it's getting nerfed, and the point of this video is a suggestion of how it could be balanced and how to add variety into Crucible for Titans. So I bring to you an exotic, another Titan mask that literally is just such a forgotten exotic at this point in the game. Probably like, what is this exotic? You've probably never even seen this before. Like, who's this? What's that? So it's Mask of the Quiet One, another Titan exotic helmet. And the exotic perk is really actually kind of cool and interesting. It just doesn't work as well as it could. So Dreaded Visage grants ability energy when you're damaged. When critically wounded, regain maximum health on kills. Now, the amount of ability energy you receive when getting damaged is noticeable, but it's not crazy. Like, you're not going to get a huge bump, but it definitely does give you a nice little bump in your ability cooldowns. And you regain maximum health on kills only when you're critically wounded. And keep a note of that, it only says maximum health. So that's just 100 health. It's not restoring your shields, and it's not giving you an overshield on top of that. With One-Eyed Mask, obviously you mark your opponent, you get extra damage, you kill them, restores your health, your shields, and gives you an overshield on top of that. Now, what I would suggest is kind of take something from One-Eyed Mask and give it to Mask of the Quiet One, because One-Eyed Mask has so many things going for it that you can remove one of the things that it does and it's still going to be super strong. So, for example, if One-Eyed Mask worked like this instead, right? You still get to mark your enemy and track them, you still get the increased damage, but you only get a bump to your maximum health when critically wounded. So basically, the way the perk works on Mask of the Quiet One right now, with the critically wounded and maximum health on kills, give that to One-Eyed Mask, and instead let Mask of the Quiet One restore shields and full health on kills when critically wounded. You guys get what I mean? Neither of the exotics now grants an overshield, because I think that's just too much to get an overshield. But Mask of the Quiet One gets better. You could maybe even increase the amount of ability energy you get back when you take damage. And instead of just getting your health back, you get shields back as well when critically wounded. So Mask of the Quiet One becomes very, very viable. And it's kind of balanced because you only get health back when you're one shot. And there's obviously a lot of risk involved in that. You don't just get the health back for free. One-Eyed Mask obviously will no longer give you overshields on kills. Instead, it'll give you only maximum health and not actually give you full shields. That's all it should do. And then obviously keep the tracking and increased damage. And basically that's it. I think if you do these changes, you do two things at once. You make Mask of the Quiet One way more viable, which adds variety to the Crucible. You keep One-Eyed Mask strong, still get the tracking, still get the increased damage, and you get bumped to your health when you get a kill, instead of full health, shields, and overshield. And yeah, that's basically my solution. Now you're probably wondering, okay, why have you just completely banished the overshield? And when it comes to that, I would actually bring up an exotic from Destiny 1 that I'm actually really well known for using back in the day, the no backup plans. Now Destiny 1 players will remember it. If you're a Destiny 2 player, you have no idea what it is. Basically, they were exotic Titan gauntlets that gave you an overshield when you got a kill with a shotgun. Now you're probably thinking, hold on, what the hell, that's even more OP than One-Eyed Mask in some ways. Well, no, it really is nowhere near as crazy as One-Eyed Mask, because the way it would work was you had to play Defender Titan in order to use the exotic. And obviously back in Destiny 1 there was no Sentinel. If you played Defender Titan, all you had was the bubble, so you didn't have an offensive super. And the second thing is, you would only get an overshield when your melee was charged. So basically it would proc Force Barrier, or what is known in Destiny 2 as Defensive Strike on top tree Sentinel. It would proc the shield for you, but only when you have a charged melee. Meaning, if you want to max out the amount of overshields you're going to get, you would have to spec into strength. So there's that inherently, like, you had to, give up something. You had to give up intellect. You had to give up discipline. And, it wasn't on an infinite cooldown like One-Eyed Mask. It didn't proc on every single weapon type. It didn't proc on grenade kills. Obviously, it proc on melee kills because it's a melee overshield in the first place. But it only procced on shoddy kills. You had to have a charged melee for it. You had to play Defender Titan in order to use it. It was just way, way more balanced, and it just made more sense. Like I said in my video, I think speaking about Recluse, it might have been. I think One-Eyed Mask is basically just a product of, the Crucible going from, tumbleweed to absolute insanity from year 1 to year 2. And now we're in year 3. It would be really good for the game if we could kind of just level things out. Like I said, that's why I've been doing these videos, because I really think the game's actually close to being in a pretty sound spot once you iron out a couple of these nails that are really sticking out from like the chaos that Forsaken, brought to the Crucible, which was ultimately a good thing overall. Chaos is better than absolute boredom. That's a fact. And that's obviously, it's part of why Destiny's fun. So basically, yeah, to summarize, that's my idea. One-Eyed Mask and Mask of the Quiet One kind of swap perks in a way, and Mask of the Quiet One becomes more viable. One-Eyed Mask is still viable, but not absolutely busted. And yeah, more variety for the Crucible. That's my idea. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If you enjoyed listening to me talk about this, please leave a like and consider subscribing. Peace. Came straight in.
Should know better. Later this believe that I don't